Hello and welcome to Rathod Science Academy. Today in this session, we are going to see current affairs of 13th July 2024. So here I am taking Delhi edition of Hindu. So whichever edition you are having, so you can go with that. So there is no problem with Hyderabad edition or Coimbatore edition or Chennai edition like that. And one more thing I want to say is, and I will be always focusing on two important things that you have to focus. So first one is your UPSC syllabus. So UPSC syllabus is very important and you have to be thorough with the syllabus. And one tip I want to give you is whenever you're starting your preparation on that day, so start with syllabus at least for 10 minutes. So see what are the topics that you have in the micro listing of your syllabus so that you will be well habituated with the syllabus, and whenever you're reading anything that will be very useful. And second one is you have to go to your PYQs. So whenever you're completing a single subject, for example, we are doing geography and within 1 week this geography is done. So after this 1 week, you have to do your revision of whatever the things that happened in the class, and later on you have to see PYQs of prelims and as well as mains, so that whenever you are reading your NCERTs and standard books, so that will be very helpful, and that will be helping you to identify how you have to prepare according to the demand of UPSC. What exactly UPSC is asking from that subject, you will be knowing that. So that thing you have to do. First one is syllabus and second one is PYQs. And even in our regular classes of foundation, so after completing of entire geography, I will be taking your questions, year-wise questions. And I will ask you to answer those questions for prelims, and even we will be having practice of mains questions of previous years. Okay, so in this way we can complete a subject holistically. You'll be doing with the classes and you'll be having regular test and also PYQs. So in this way, you will be well attached with what UPSC exactly wants. Okay? Yeah. So this is your front page. So in this front page, I say this article is important. Okay, so title says Kejriwal gets interim bail in Delhi excise policy case. So here the word you have to focus is interim bail. So many of you might be knowing about this word bail. So if you're watching any movies, so if someone is kept in the jail, you will be applying for bail, right? So what is this interim bail? So this is the key word. You have to know that because in UPSC, examiner can ask question regarding this interim bail. So the question will go like this. Consider the following statements regarding interim bail, and they'll give you 2 to 3 statements, and they'll ask which of the above are correct related to interim bail or which of the statements are incorrect. So in that way, you have to know exactly what is this meaning of interim bail is. Okay, so what is the keyword here? Interim bail. And from which subject we can connect this? Only from GS paper to polity. So what are the dimensions you have to see? First one is you have to understand what is this interim bail and what are the conditions of it. So these two areas where UPSC can ask you the questions in your prelims, and you have to focus on that. Okay, so let us see what this article is talking about. So many of you know about this so-and-so Kejriwal had been arrested in Delhi liquor policy case, right? And finally, he got interim bail. But even though after he is getting interim bail, he will be in the jail now. Why? Because he is going to have the issue regarding CID, CBI, etc. So because of this, even though he got interim bail, he will be staying in jail. Okay, so that is the thing that you have to be clear. So this article is saying that Kejriwal gets interim bail in money laundering case. So you know about this money laundering, right? So in your economy classes, already discussed about what is money laundering. So what is this money laundering means? Conversion of black money into white money. So black money, it is not like exactly black in color, but on this money, they will be not paying tax. So in this money laundering case, which is linked to this Delhi excise policy, finally he has been arrested and he got interim bail now, but he remains in jail because of CBI investigation. Okay, but in this case, he got bail, but he will be staying in jail for this CBI case. So now let us see the details. Actually, Supreme Court gave a decision to grant interim bail to this Arvind Kejriwal in money laundering case. because it is very important, because like whenever any person who is placed in the jail means his fundamental rights will be get violated. So now here this decision by judiciary which gives him some sort of freedom, okay, freedom, it will be like, and he will be remaining under remand in a related CBI cases. Actually here you will be getting interim bail, but this article is saying that even though he is getting interim bail, he will be staying in jail under CBI case or CBI custody. So because of this, we can understand whenever there is any high profile case or coming up, so providing bail or any legal proceeding, that will be very, very complex. So that is the thing, we can understand that even he is getting interim bail, but he has to stay in custody for CBI case. And next one is the bail conditions imposed on this Kejriwal are like he should not visit CM office because he is like CM of Delhi. So because of this, he is not having any authority of CM office now, and he cannot assign any official files now. So that here we can understand that they are going on strict in investigations, and this process very, very complex. And even our judicial system wants to ensure integrity of legal process. What are the legal process are there? So whoever it may be, so they have to follow the law, right? And now let us see some facts regarding what is this interim bail. So from this box, you may get a question. So interim bail is nothing but it is a temporary bail. It is not a permanent bail. It is for a temporary period. So you can get a statement like interim bail is a permanent bail. So it is not, it is wrong. So interim bail, it is for only a temporary purpose, only that too for a very short period of time. Okay. And if you're talking about why it is temporary in nature, because it is given for a specific period and it is very, very short until the court gets opportunity to thoroughly consider the bail application. So till the permanent bail application is taken up by the judiciary, till then they will be giving this interim bail, that is for only short period of time. So it is called as temporary bail. And if you're talking about conditions, so here whenever court is giving this interim bail, so it can impose some conditions to be followed. So those conditions are like there should be regular reporting to the police station. So they have to come to police station, they have to keep the sign. So many movies also depicting that. So after giving the bail also they have to come to police station, they have to keep the sign. That means they have to report to the police station and they should not leave the jurisdiction, and even they should not do any action that will be tampering the evidences. Okay. So these are the some conditions need to be followed in this interim bail. And on these conditions also you may get prelim statement, and you have to be very much clear with these three conditions. And there is one mains question. Discuss the concept of interim bail in Indian judicial system. How does it balances the rights of accused and interest of justice? So in this way, you can get mains question for 10 marker in your mains. Clear? Okay. So now let us go to our Hindu page. So here you can see one article. Title is June food inflation quickens to 9.4%. Retail price gains rebound to 5.1%. So what is the keyword here? Food inflation. So what is the meaning of inflation? Yes, very good. Okay. So the keyword is food inflation. So where we can connect? GS paper 3, economy. Other than economy, can we connect with other subject? Other than economy, can we connect with other subject? So GS paper 2, society. In society, you will be studying about this hunger, malnutrition topics, right? Can you connect with that? Yes. And apart from that, in GS paper 2, we have governance. So in governance, they will talk about different schemes. So you have to see the schemes which are providing food security for people. For example, we have Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana. Okay, and also we have National Food Security Act of 2013. So from this point of view, you can also see this article. Clear? Okay, now what are the exact dimensions you have to see? Dimensions, tell me. So first one is you have to understand what is inflation, what are the causes of inflation. Next one is what are the types of inflation. So can you tell me the types of inflation? Yes, cost push, demand pull and built in. Okay, so you have to see those things. And how we are measuring inflation measures. So we have CPI and we have WPI, wholesale price index and consumer price index. And you have to see the organizations which are releasing this. Office of Economic Advisor. And next one is we have Labor Bureau, right? Yes, MOSPI, that is Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. So you have to see which are organizations related to this food inflation. Clear? So all these are the dimensions that you have to see, and you have to revise this topic from your economy point of view. And from schemes, you have to refer this PMGAY and as well as National Food Security Act. And even today's newspaper also, there is one article regarding this National Food Security Act. We are going to discuss that. Okay. And here from society point of view, you have to see how this food inflation is affecting hungry or hunger and how it is increasing this problem of malnutrition in our country. And if there is food inflation, if it is increasing malnutrition means there will be again increasing of stunting, again increasing of wasting, obesity, etc. So because of this, again now government need to take some steps to address those problems. So again that will be a problem to government itself. So all these things are interconnected, right? So in this way you have to think a topic. And here you can see one image. So what is this image talking about? Anything this image want to express? What is this image? So Nepali army troops during a rescue operation after a landslip triggered by heavy rain swept two buses off a highway and plunged them into Trishul river in Chitwan on Friday. At least 63 people, including 7 Indian nationals, were believed to be missing. So here this article it is about landslip, right? Landslip. Okay, let me give you the dimensions. It is talking about landslip in Nepal. So Nepal is also one of the Himalayan country. Yes, not only India, even Nepal is also one of the Himalayan country. And Himalayas, they are not stable. They are still active. And because of this, landslips are frequently caused. But now, if you see the causes of landslip, we have natural causes and we have man-made or anthropogenic causes. So now this landslip happened because of natural causes, because of heavy rainfall. Because of heavy rainfall, this landslip happened now in Nepal. And now we are calling it as a disaster because on the highway itself, because of landslip, what happened? 2 buses had been flooded away in the water. And about more than 60 people, they are missing now. In that 60 people, we have around 7 Indian nationals. So here, what are the dimensions you have to see? First one is, what is a landslide? And next, you have to see what are the reasons, both natural and man-made. And you have to see what is the impact of landslide. And you have to see from disaster management, how can you control or control measures you have to see. So all these things that you have to see from this article. So from where we can connect this article? First one will be your geography from GS paper 1. And next one is from GS paper 3, disaster management. And even from GS paper 3 under environment and ecology. So from these 3 subjects point of view, we can connect this article. Clear? No doubt, right? Okay, and if you move on, so in city page there is nothing much important. So have you gone through the paper? What happened? Why? Every day you have to do that? No. So you have to go through the newspaper at least before I am starting the newspaper analysis in the class. But why you didn't today? Okay, so there is nothing much important in your states page also, and today is Saturday. There is no text and context, there is no opinion page. So you'll be having very less number of articles in today's newspaper. So directly you can see this article. Yes, what can you see here? Who are there in this image? Yes, rescue. What is the rescue which is going on? In which area? Yes. So title says Kaziranga's women forest guards ensure a safe passage for flood hit animals by patrolling highway. So yesterday itself we discussed that yes, flood is happening in Assam from last 10 days. More than 180 animals they had lost their life. So now who are playing role? Women. Women forest guards. So where can we connect this article exactly? Okay, keyword is women forest guards. Okay, so we can connect this article under GS paper 3 under environment and ecology, because here we are talking about which national park? Kaziranga National Park. Okay, so let us keep it aside and we'll be coming back to that. And next one is you have to say GS paper 1 geography, because you have to refer this topic of monsoon. So had this monsoon topic completed to you? You can connect with this monsoon. Yeah. And next one is from GS paper 2 under society. We will be discussing or talking about women empowerment. So here we are talking about especially women forest guards and their role in controlling of these floods or saving of animals. Okay, so from these three subjects we will be discussing this topic. So first of all, in this Kaziranga National Park, what are the details you have to know? You have to see the map. So where it is located in? State of Assam, right? In Assam, we have this Kaziranga National Park. So apart from this Kaziranga National Park in Assam, so which are the other national parks in the same Assam? Like we have Manas National Park. You have to list out other national parks in this Assam. And next one is you have to see why the floods are happening in this Kaziranga National Park. That is because of river Brahmaputra. So whenever you are saying this river Brahmaputra, again you have to see the tributaries which are flowing in this Assam. Okay. And from environment and ecology, you have to see like what is the impact of floods. So yesterday we discussed that not only animals, even humans, they lost their life, and even it is having impact on the biodiversity in that region. So all those points you can write at least 3 to 4 points there. So those things that you have to make a note of. And from GS paper 1 you have to see monsoon. So in this monsoon we have two branches. One is Arabian Sea branch, one is Bay of Bengal branch. You know this, right? So which branch will cause us rainfall in this northeastern region? Bay of Bengal branch. So you have to revise about the movement of this Bay of Bengal branch, how it is moving from equator towards Andaman and Nicobar, and next northeast towards west, and this Bay of Bengal branch will be meeting this Arabian Sea branch in the western part. So how the rainfall is distributing from equator towards northeast and west. You have to cover entire that Bay of Bengal branch. Okay. And next, from empowerment point of view, you have to see what is the role of women in saving environment. So in environment, you will be studying about Chipko movement. So do you know about this? Any idea of Chipko movement? Have you heard anywhere? So in that Chipko movement, what happened? So the people, they want to cut the trees, but they will go and they will hug. See, the same way, from past onwards, women, they are playing a very important role in saving of environment. So can you add this article? If you see this image, there are women. So they are trying to protect animals. So whenever you are getting a question regarding, discuss the role of women in protecting our environment, along with illustrate with examples. If you are getting this type of questions, so you can add this type of articles which are coming in news, right? So you have to do this. So whenever you are getting women related, empowerment related examples, you have to quote somewhere, because women empowerment is one of the favorite area of UPSC, and there will be no question in your mains without the question of women empowerment. So whatever the examples that you are collecting in this newspaper, you can add as an example, so that you will be getting good marks. And even in your essay also, you can add this as a dimension. Okay, understanding? So whenever I am giving you this kind of tips, try to use them. Okay, so these are the dimensions that you have to see. No doubt right here? Yeah. So let us move on. Yes, in this editorial page, so there are 3 articles which are very important from our UPSC point of view. Let us see one by one. So first one, it is about a wobbly walk. So this article is talking about India-Russia relations. So yesterday, day before yesterday, I said no. So our Prime Minister is meeting Putin sir, and once the meeting is done, we will be getting editorials. Now we got right. So whenever we are getting articles and editorials, we have to focus on that more. Okay, rather than in other pages of news or front page. So only important topics you will be getting editorials, and from that editorials only you will be getting mains question and as well as essays. Okay, so now let us see this article. So what is the keyword? India-Russia relations. Yes. So keyword is India-Russia relations. So from which subject it is important? Yes, GS paper 2. IR. Only IR. Can we connect with other subject? Yes, very good. GS paper 3. Economy, we can connect. So actually this article is saying that rather than military agreements, this time India and Russia, they finalized many trade related agreements. So there is a diversion because India needs military equipment, right? So India needs effective military equipment, and till date we depended on this Russia. I'm not saying that we depended only Russia, but we depended a lot on Russia to get our military related equipment. But now what happened here is we have diversified our military equipments from different countries. Now we are getting from US, we are getting from France, we are getting from even Israel, right? So when we had diversified means, yes, we will be decreasing the centralization or dependence on only one country now. So we are getting equipment from different countries. So that is one example that we can understand by this meeting. So now this meeting is focusing on especially improving of trade other than this military equipment. And even one more thing we can see here is, if you see the enemies and friends of Russia, so who is the enemy of Russia now? US. And who are the friends of Russia? China and as well as even Pakistan. And these two are like enemies of India. And US is friend of India. So because of this, even we have to balance this geopolitical dimensions as well. So because of this, we are diversifying our military equipments from Russia. So that is the thing that we have to understand. Okay, clear? So that is the thing which is given here in this article. And let us see this in detail. So if you see central theme of this article, it says that India's Prime Minister Modi visited Russia to strengthen ties amid global criticism for the timing. So actually now what happened is, for 2 years, from last 2 years, February 2022 onwards, Russia started attacking Ukraine exactly from February 2022 onwards. On February 24, it started attacking this Ukraine. So from that time onwards, still the war had not been ended. And many countries are insisting on India that yes, you are all-weather friend of Russia. So in this meet, you have to bring at least peace regarding this Russia-Ukraine crisis. But we tried a lot, but had not been happened. Okay. So here, this article says that yes, this time is not correct because Russia-Ukraine crisis is going on. But why India and Russia had a meet? So there is some criticism which is going on. And actually in this visit, we focused on just economic parameters or partnership only, but we are avoiding military purchases from Russia. So that is the thing that we need to focus. And if you see some key points, you are saying that India's strategic visit to Russia amid global tensions highlights the challenges of maintaining diplomatic relations. So actually this time is not correct. Everyone knows Russia-Ukraine crisis is going on and everyone is focusing on how to resolve this issue, and everyone are increasing pressure on India to do something. But even though we had a meet, and that means we want to improve our diplomatic relations. So if India is not meeting Russia, means Russia will be entirely moving towards China, or it is moving towards or helping the Pakistan. So it will be much more detrimental for India. So no, we have to focus on that as well. And next one is, in this meet, we especially focused on economic partnership, but not traditional military ties. So traditionally between India and Russia, we always focused on military equipment to get more technology, more advanced equipment to fight against Pakistan as well as China. But now we are focusing on just economic partnership. And this one is, we are also avoiding military purchases from Russia, and we want to get much more advanced from other countries. And next one is we are also focusing on balancing of act. That means nothing but between Russia and India ties, we are focusing on how balanced relations we have. Because if you are going towards much more USA, it will be not good. And if you are going towards much more Russia, it is also not good. So we need to have a balanced ties between India, Russia, and as well as India, US now. So that is the thing which mainly said. And if you see what are the challenges between India and Russia. So even though Russia and India are all weather friends, we are having challenges between our relations in 4 areas. So first one is Russia is becoming closer with China. Okay, so this is also one cause of concern between India and as well as Russia relations. So here India don't want Russia to move towards China, but it is moving because of its own concerns, its own foreign policy. It is based on its own foreign policy. So India cannot interfere and India cannot say directly Russia to that you should not move towards China karke. We can't say that, right? And next one here is even the military also, they are cooperating. So whenever Russia and China, they are having the military cooperation, whenever they are getting equipment from Russia, so we will be also having the same equipment. How can we be advanced compared to that of China? No, right? So because of that, we don't want to get the military equipment from Russia now onwards, and we are decreasing that imports. And next one is even Russia is moving towards Pakistan. It is also one important cause of concern because obviously China is there. So wherever China is there, Pakistan will be going. Pakistan will be tail of China. Okay. So that thing that you have to see. And next one is even Ukraine crisis also going on. So because of this Ukraine crisis, so many countries, they are imposing sanctions on Russia to stop this Russia-Ukraine crisis. So if India is moving closer to Russia means that sanctions can also be imposed on India. So this is also one cause of concern between India and as well as Russia. And next one is we have to focus on like declining of economic engagement. So actually what happened in the recent trend, so we are decreasing our imports from this Russia. So there is also one cause of concern. So these are the 4 important areas of concern between India and as well as Russia. And I gave you one mains question, so try to see that question. Yeah, this is very interesting article in today's paper. So here you can see the PDS impact on household expenditure. So do you know about what is this PDS? PDS, public distribution system. So what is this public distribution system? So how many of you have ration cards here? You have. So what you will be getting from that ration shop or fair price shop? Less price, food grains. And what food grains you will be getting? Only rice? Okay, sugar, oil. Okay, next. So whether this PDS system is important in India? Why? Why it is important? Okay, poverty. Especially to ensure food security because many people, they don't have proper food, proper diet, and they will be not having proper income, and many of the people in India, they are below poverty line. So because of this, ensuring of food security is a responsibility of government, and especially during this COVID-19 period, government started providing free food grains without any cost under Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana. So you have to know about that scheme also. Okay, now let us see this article. So here the keyword is PDS. So PDS is public distribution system. So from which subject we can connect this? GS paper 2, governance. Next. GS paper 3, economy. Okay. And GS paper 2, society. Next. From GS paper 4, ethics also it is important. Okay, so what are the dimensions you have to see? First, you have to understand what is this PDS system. And next one is you have to see what is this National Food Security Act. National Food Security Act of 2013. And what is the criteria? And you have to know how many people are getting this free or subsidized food grains under this National Food Security Act. For example, rural area, how much percentage? For example, urban area, how much percentage? Is very important. You have to know some data. And you have to see what are the challenges in this PDS. So what happens in this PDS? Normally, there will be loopholes. So many a times there will be black market. The fair price shop people, they will be selling the food grains. right? So for that, what happened? I want to give you one example in AP state government. They started using this ICT, that is information communication technology, to track where this trolley of trolley which is carrying this food grains under this system, and they wherever they are going, so they will be tracking the vehicle, and even after once the so and so fair price shop or ration shop got the material, so automatically the message will be sent to each and every people who are getting that food grains under that so and so center, and after that they will be giving the timings, exactly timings like when you have to go there, and they will be using the thumb impression, so that what happens, so we can have like eligibility and as well as accountability, transparency, everything we can maintain, and even we can decrease the leakages. Okay, we can decrease the leakages purpose. So for that, here we can use this ICT. So this example you can use in ethics. Okay, in ethics you will be having a last chapter, 7th chapter is about probity in governance. There you will be talking about this. So because of this, yes, it is also important from your ethics GS paper 4. Okay. So from governance point of view, you have to know about what is this Pradhana Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana program. And from economy point of view, how it is going to affect the poverty and as well as hunger in our country. Okay, that's it. Clear? So now let us see this article. Okay, so this article is talking about whenever people are getting subsidized food grains or free food grains under this PDS system, so it is also having impact on household expenditure. So how this PDS is related to household expenditure, and this topic we can connect with our GS paper 3 economy. Okay, now let us see this in detail. So if you see the central theme of this article, it says that the public distribution system provides subsidized food grains to households, impacting their expenditure on other items. So this is the thing which mainly said by this household survey 2022 to 2023 data. So recently this household survey had been, household consumption expenditure survey had been done, and this data is saying that, so because of this PDS system under which they are getting subsidized food grains or free food grains, so they will be having impact on the expenditure on the other items. So whenever they are getting the food grains free means, for example, they are getting rice. So what are the money they initially used to get this rice, now they can use for other products like milk products, and they can get chicken at least weekly once, or else mutton or paneer. So what happens? So they will be moving towards protein rich food, so that we can ensure proper nutritious or balanced diet. Yes or no? So that is the thing which is said here. And whenever you are getting this type of surveys, you have to make a note of data for sure. Okay, you have to know about what is that survey and who is releasing that survey and what that survey is saying. At least key points of that survey you have to know. So if you see this article here, it says that public distribution system, it is a very important social security program in our country, and the important objective of this scheme, it is to provide food security. Everyone should have the food, so no one should sleep without having the food. So this is focusing on ensuring food security. And next one is, as per this scheme, around 75% of rural people and about 50% of urban people, so they are eligible to get the subsidized food grains under this National Food Security Act of 2013. So whenever you are writing answer about this food security, yes, you have to ensure this National Food Security Act of 2013. In polity also you can use, in governance you can use, in economy you can use, in ethics you have to use that. Okay, that is very, very important act, and it is one of the success that we can say in India. And actually you have to see, like, whatever the cost of consuming food grains from PDS is subsidized, so they will be using the price that used to be spent on these food grains to other products now. So they will be getting some good vegetables, milk, pulses, egg, fish, meat, or other nutrient protein rich items. Sometimes they will be also preparing their desserts. Yes or no? So if they are having only some little amount of money, if they want to get food grains, only they will be getting only rice. They will be not focusing on this vegetables or curries. So they will be just making the pickles, and they will be preserving the pickles for 1 year long, and they will be using that. Okay, so because of the subsidized food grains, now they are getting some other foods that can ensure nutrition or balanced diet. So here you have to say about this PDS. So PDS plays a very important role in household food security, and even because of this PDS, it is also having the impact on the expenditure patterns of that so and so house. And recently here we have this household consumption expenditure survey data, which says that yes, whenever the people they are getting the benefits under this PDS, so they are having like good amount of other alternative foods like that. They said that's it, nothing more than that. So I gave you the details regarding what is this household consumption expenditure survey. So who will be releasing that? NSO. You have to remember this. And you will be getting statements regarding this HCES. Like recently HCES is in news. So regarding HCES, consider the following statements. So they will give that this will be released by MOSPI. No, it is released by NSO. So in that you will be getting confused in your examination. So for that you have to be very much sure. So it is released by NSO once in every 5 years. So they will say like it will be released annually every year. No, it is released once in every 5 years. So in this way UPSC will play games with the organizations and as well as time period for sure. You must be very careful. And actually it is designed to collect information on consumption of goods and services by households. And actually whatever the data which is collected in this is also utilized for deriving various macroeconomic indicators like how they are contributing to GDP or also poverty rates and consumer price index, etc. So for all this we will be using. And next here this is showing about the recent data of household consumption expenditure survey. So they said about food expenditure preferences. So whenever they are getting food grains on subsidized price, so the money they used to spend earlier, now they are spending on beverages. See here how they are wasting the money. So they can save for their children, right? But they will be using for beverages, refreshments, or like going for processed food. Actually, these are very harmful to the health, right? We should not do that. Okay, you have to save money at least for the next generation. And next one is they are also going for milk and milk products, so they can. So in this way, they will be ensuring, especially protein requirement, whatever protein requirement of your body you can get by this milk and as well as milk products. And it is happening in the state of Haryana and Rajasthan, but especially in Tamil Nadu state. How many of you are from Tamil Nadu? Okay, in Tamil Nadu and Telangana state, they will go for drinking of alcohol, beverages, etc. Telangana is very much famous for that. Yeah, next one is overall food versus non-food expenditure. So now these people they started spending on egg, fish, meat, etc. Especially how many of you from Kerala? So if you are from Kerala, so Kerala people are spending on this egg, fish and as well as meat. So that is a thing. And next one is like major non-food expenditure categories. So they are especially focusing on other non-food expenditure, not only spending on food. So they will be also spending on non-food like going to tours. Especially Kerala people, they are top in that. And this one is they are also spending some amount of money in the medical expenses. Particularly it is high in Kerala and as well as West Bengal and Andhra Pradesh. And they will be going for durable goods like getting some fridge or like coolers or any other electronic equipment which is required like ovens, washing machines like that goods they will be buying. And next one is they will be also spending on fuel and as well as light. So in this fuel and light, especially West Bengal and Odisha is spending a lot. Okay. So those things that you have to remember. And I want to show you one important statistics. It is about monthly per capita consumption expenditure. So actually you will be getting PDS on monthly basis. Every month you will be getting rations, right? So here if you see and if you compare with the rural areas and urban areas, so urban areas they have around 33% share here and rural areas they are having 40% of share under this. MPCE in rural areas had been increased by 40% and in rural area, in urban areas they had been increased by 33%. So this is the data which is given in this household consumption expenditure survey now. Okay, so there is one prelims based question. So can you answer this question? Under this National Food Security Act, beneficiaries are entitled to receive subsidized food grains and what rates? So we have rice, wheat and coarse grain. So what is the price? Do you know? Rice is for 3 rupees and wheat is for 2 rupees. And grains is for 1 rupee. Option B is the correct answer. You have to know this price rates also under this National Food Security Act. So if you want, you can make a note of that. You will be forgetting later on. And next question is, what is the main challenge faced by this public distribution system in India? So as I said, the first one is high administrative cost. Next one is leakage and diversion of food grains. And third one is lack of awareness among beneficiaries. And fourth one is limited availability of food grains. So what is the problem? We have mostly leakages and diversion of food grains, especially black market is very high in this ration related food grains. Okay, and next question is, in the light of household consumption expenditure survey, examine the potential implications of changing consumption patterns on India's economic planning and development strategies. So try to write about what are the changes or what are the data that we got and how we can implement them. And next is, whenever you are getting any new type of fish or species or animal or any plant, that is very important, as I said when I discussed micro listing of topics. And now there is one fish species. It is not fish exactly, it is shark. New species of dog fish shark. Okay, dog fish. It is not separately dog or fish or shark. It is a single name. Dog fish shark discovered in Kerala harbor. So what this article says is, so new species of dog fish shark that is called as Squalus hema discovered in Kerala harbor by scientists from Geological Survey of India. So how you can get a question? So recently Squalus hema is seen in news. What it is related to? Fish species or shark species or reptile or snake, like that you will be getting question. Every year you will be getting one question regarding this species which is seen in news. So in 2024 the news was cicada. Cicada. Actually you attended this ma'am, Lavanya ma'am class, right? So actually earlier in the earlier batch of prelims, ma'am used to take the classes of prelims enhancement for those students who joined prelims test series. So at that time, ma'am, she explained about this cicada insect. So because of the cicada insect, so how they caused disturbance in their training like that. The same question, cicada, which is in news, which species it belongs to? It is an insect. So that is a 2024 question that appeared. So many students who attended that session had made that question right. So in that way, whenever we are giving any classes, so at least you will be getting one. If you are getting one important point means that will be very helpful to clear this examination. So that is a point I want to let you know. Okay. So here this discovery of the Squalus hema highlights about rich biodiversity of marine life in Kerala. So that is the one thing. So we have identified. That means we can understand that this Kerala is having a very rich biodiversity of marine. And actually this study which says that marine exploitation is happening, and as well as especially marine ecosystem we need to save, because now they are facing lots of problems like habitat threat, like for example habitat destruction, pollution, so what not. So every problem now how humans are facing, in the same way any being or any life which is on our earth is facing the same problems. So we have to focus on that. And especially this sharks are highly exploited because, so from their liver, you know about liver, right? Liver. So from the liver, they will be extracting this liver oil, and that liver oil which is having huge demand in the pharmaceutical companies. Actually, you know that, have you saw that tablets, they'll be like very soft gel tablets, will be having vitamin A soft gel tablets. So if you cut them, you will be getting fishy smell like that. So actually those are the tablets are made up of this liver cord oils. So for that there will be huge demand for this sharks. So because of that the exploitation is happening for this sharks. Okay. And whenever you are writing about marine biodiversity and what are the threats, so because of the huge demand of that oils in the pharmaceutical sector, they are getting exploited. So you can add this type of examples. There you can quote about this Squalus, that is dogfish shark. Clear? And next topic is, India shows good progress on sustainable development goals, says Niti Aayog report. So what is the keyword guys here? Yes, very good. SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. So who gave this? United Nations. And how many are there? So we have 17 sustainable development goals, and when we have to achieve, what is the target year? 2020, so 2030. So 2030 is a target year. We have to achieve all these 17 sustainable development goals. So practically say, whether is it possible for India? Like no hunger, tell me zero hunger, and focus on health, blue economy, everything. Is it possible? So, but this Niti Aayog report is saying that, yes, we are doing very good. Niti Aayog report is saying that, yes, we are doing very good. We are progressing to achieve this sustainable development goals. So, how many years are there? Just 6 years are there. So, what happens in the 6th year? So, something which had not happened from 75 years onwards, can we do, or can we bring this change in the 6 years? So, please don't make it controversy, and please let me know your own comments and as well as your own ideas or perspectives regarding. So, can we achieve this 17 sustainable development goals by 2030? So, I want to question about zero hunger and no poverty. So, whether these two can be achieved or not, so please let me know in the comment box. Okay, now let us see this article. If I talk anything, it will become controversy, and many comments they will be getting under my video. Okay, I don't want to talk about this. Okay, so if you see the context, it says that India has shown significant progress on sustainable development goals according to Niti Aayog. So India's score is 71 out of 100 from 57 in 2018. So in 2018, India's rank is like India got the score of 57 for 100. Now we got 71. So now 57 to 71, yes, we are getting some improvement. So this Niti Aayog report is saying, and we know the reality, but you have to follow this. Okay, yeah. Now if you see the key points here, it says that in which areas we are getting progress is progress in SDG shows India's commitment to improving people's life, welfare and quality of life. Is it correct? So whether government is focusing on improving of quality of life of people or welfare of people. So if yes, tell me why, and if no, tell me why. So you want to get balanced, right? You have to be very much balanced when you are writing this type of answers in your mains at least. We should not be entirely biased towards positive or negative. So take a balanced stand. And next one is we are especially having better health and insurance coverage. So because of this, we are improving in this health condition. So this is the report which is saying that. And even you are having high teacher to student ratios in education. Is it right? So do we have high student to teacher ratio, especially in the government schools? And next one is, this article is saying that drop in income and gender inequality is happening. Gender inequality scores high. So recently, I think 15 days ago, we saw one report that so high income inequality is increasing in India. So only top 1% people are sharing most of the wealth. So we discussed that topic, right? So how can we say there is dropping of income inequality? I don't know. So you have to think about that. And next one is there is slight decrease in women's earning ratio indicates ongoing challenges in achieving gender equality. So on another side, it is saying that there is discrimination which is happening in the gender inequality. So we have to work on this. Okay, that's it. So here, why we need sustainable development? So for example, we are over exploiting our natural resources, especially 1 million species on track for extinction in the world. So because of this, we need this sustainable development. Next one is there is decline of more than 60% of world's marine fisheries. So there is over exploitation of fisheries is seen. And next one is there is scarcity of resources. So food production needs to be doubled within next 40 years so that we can't ensure the food security. And next one is nearly 2/3 of the world's population is living in water scarcity areas. And even many cities like Hyderabad, Delhi, Bangalore, Chennai, they are facing this water crisis. You can add those examples. And next one is we are getting this climate change issues. There is increasing of atmosphere temperature, and even we are getting extreme weather events like landslides and volcanic thing, and as well as melting of glaciers, increasing of sea level rise, droughts, floods, whatnot. And next one is there is rising of sea levels, as I said. So because of this, yes, we need to have sustainable development. And one request from my side here is you have to compulsory by heart these 17 goals. So whenever writing mains answer, you have to quote them. Like if you are writing an answer of poverty, so we have Sustainable Development Goal 1, it talks about no poverty. And if you're writing about answer of hunger, we have Sustainable Development Goal 2, which talks about zero hunger. Next one is health, Sustainable Development Goal 3. If you're talking about education, Goal 4. And gender equality, 5. Water and sanitation, 6. 7. Affordable clean energy. 8. Decent work and economic growth. 9. Industry. 10. Inequalities. 10. Sustainable cities and communities. 12 is consumption production. And 13 is climate action. 14 is life below water. And 15 is life on land. 16 is peace. 17 is partnership for good. So I'll make some small interesting videos on how to remember all these goals in shorts. So we got our new video editor today. So we'll be making more shorts so that whatever the informative videos that you have to remember for your mains, I will be recording those videos from now onwards, and that will be posted on YouTube. Okay, so at any cost, you have to remember these 17 sustainable development goals, and wherever you're writing, you have to include that with number. So that will be your presentation skills, and in that way you can enhance your marks in your mains. Okay, so this is very important. And if you go to other pages, so leave this ground zero. And next one is net tax receipts up to 19.5%. Next one is corporate tax share is at 36.6%. So here this article is related to your tax. Okay, so you have to know what is tax. In this tax we have direct tax, indirect tax, and this corporate tax is example of direct tax. And this corporate tax share is very high. So whatever central government is collecting the tax, it is getting more tax from this corporate tax only, other than this income tax. I discussed about this article of dog, fish, shark, and discussed about this SDG. Yes, there is one more article. India-US tech partnership will grow to hundreds of millions of dollars. So once we are getting many agreements or memorandum of understanding, we will be seeing this article. So not now, but remember that we are going to have good partnership with US. That's it. Yeah, these are the very important articles that appeared in our today's Hindu newspaper. So by this I'm concluding. And if you really like this class, please hit the like button, and please do share this class to your friends. And one more thing here is, we are launching the new batch for online and as well as offline GS foundation course. And if you're interested, and if you want to be like our old students who are like improving their content and improving their knowledge in this UPSC, and if you want to be like that, so you can join this course. And if you have any queries, you can call me on this number 8074765513. And even this is WhatsApp number, you can text me on WhatsApp also. And apart from this foundation course, we are having different courses of, for example, current affairs package, and also we have NCERT course, and we are also going to provide you single modules of geography of Vilas sir also. So you can take that courses if you are interested. And if you want to take any course, you can download our Rathod Science Academy app. The link is given in description box, and you can purchase the course in the app itself. And thank you so much guys for watching, and we are going to meet in the next session.